Welcome to another episode of From the Honeycomb, a podcast that creates a spark of positive energy in your home to design, architecture, yoga, meditation, and travel. I've created this podcast as a place to come for design inspiration and especially to learn about Vastu Shastra with a modern approach. I am your host, Katerina, and welcome to From the Honeycomb. Happy Friday, everyone! So today's episode is going to look a little different because I am recording from my bathtub. It's been a week, to say the least. It's been one of those weeks where not a lot of things happen, but at the same time, a lot happened, and I can barely remember what happened on Monday. And so I was just feeling really exhausted today, and I thought, okay, well, I have so many more things I need to finish by the end of this week before the weekend starts. And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to take a bath. I thought, well, what if I recorded a podcast episode in the bath? That way I'm being productive while semi-relaxing at the same time. Figured, why not? Let's give it a shot. Let's see if this format even works. I'm a little nervous because I have a couple $1,000s worth of equipment right next to the bathtub full of water. So I am definitely a little cautious here of how much I can gesticulate while I talk, and just very mindful of all the equipment around me that could probably fall into the water and electrocute me and I could die. But it's just been a long day. I'm ready to just have it be the weekend. And so just today's episode, I kind of just want to talk, and we'll see where this goes. As I was thinking about it, this morning when I thought, oh, there's so much to do. I have to get home, do this. I had to go to the DMV to get my new driver's license because it expires, and I had to do all this other stuff. And I thought, you know what if I had like a segment called Bathtub Confessions, where I just kind of talk about what's going on in my life from my bathtub, because in the bathtub is actually where some of my ideas have come from, some of my meditations I've written. This is really kind of my creative space that it's a sacred space for me. And so figured, why not, let's try this episode. Maybe it'll become a new thing, new segment. We'll call this new segment Bathtub Confessions. Let's take a moment to find something we're grateful for in this moment. Whatever it may be. Maybe you have had a long week like I have, and you're just happy to have made it to today. And so that's something you could be grateful for. That's definitely something I feel like I'm grateful for right now, as well as being in this tub. Just being immersed in water, warm water with bubbles. I have my candle lit. I have some crystals by me. I actually have one crystal I bought while we were up in Topanga. Beautiful tangerine quartz, and it's supposed to boost creativity. So I have that next to me, my clear quartz. And it was also the inauguration of a new bubble bath bottle that I just opened, just specially for this episode. Felt like a great time to pop it open. But for Christmas, my stepdad got me this amazing bubble bath. It's called Lolia, I believe, and it's the Dream, the white tea and honeysuckle, and it smells amazing. Also, the bottle looks so cool. It looks like a bottle of some gin or bourbon or something. Absolutely beautiful. I'm immersed in these bubbles in this warm water, so that's something I'm so grateful for right now, to kind of come up with this idea, because I love baths. When I was little, I would take baths. And the first year I lived alone in Chicago after I graduated from college, I had this standing free tub. And that year I took so many baths, but because it was so cold that winter, I would come home and literally just duck into the tub and just lay there for hours, refill the water. Also, something for what's very different from California is in the Midwest, at least in Chicago, you don't have to pay for your water. Here we have to pay for water. So there I knew, wow, this is maybe one of the few times I don't have to pay for water. So I would just take bath after bath, and it felt so amazing, so relaxing. I would watch Netflix shows, I would read. The bathtub has just become this sacred place for me. And especially over the last, 2-3 years, I would say I definitely come more to it, especially when I don't have the energy to get on my mat, practice yoga, or I don't feel like working out. I feel like this is, in a way, I use the bath time to substitute like workout time because I feel like that's a perfect balance. I've also used Epsom salts to help with like aching muscles, or if like right before my moon cycle starts, it's been really nice to just let all the tension out in the bathtub. I'm actually also working on a bathtub meditation. I've been kind of thinking about it every time I take a bath. How would I kind of manifest it, and just thinking more and more about it. So I'm super excited. All right, so the week I've had, it's been a busy week. It feels like, like I said, not much happened. Spent a lot of time at work, also came off of being in quarantine. So this month has been, although I really wanted to just do the surrender and let go, maybe it's because Mercury's in retrograde again or whatever it is. There's just been, and COVID's back, Jesse tested positive at home. So that completely flipped our world upside down for, a good couple days, trying to rearrange things, reschedule things. What do you do? I mean, nobody knows what they're doing anyway. And so it just seems like just this year just took off again, and I haven't had a chance to just like take a moment to just stop and just be. And so coming into February, I want to really kind of just focus on that more. There was a few days for sure at the beginning of the year. I know I posted some photos on Instagram where I said, I'm surrendering. I have a to-do list. Instead I'm watching, and just like that new Sex and the City show. And so I've definitely tried to know when to quit and just say, okay, it's, past a certain time, you're exhausted, you don't want to burn out by the end of the week. So I've definitely been trying to focus on that, but it's been a lot. And so more just of things have accumulated. So Jesse's now studying for his contractor's license, which means I've kind of taken over the household, which is what he does while I'm studying. It's a whole hands-on deck, cooking, cleaning, shopping, everything, just everything. And I underestimated how much work it was. And it's been a really humbling experience to see how much Jesse does while I study. And Jesse and I have had conversations about, wow, he said, I don't know how you do it. Because I said, I don't know how you do all this work. He says, I don't know how you do it, where you wake up before work to study, go to work, and then come home and study again. And he's like, I'm beat. I'm exhausted. I study flashcards with him. He's taking practice tests. And it's this whole role reversal, which has been really kind of eye-opening, but like I said, humbling, because I just appreciate so much more of the work he's been putting in behind the scenes that I do notice. Of course, food's on the table, things are clean, but now I actually see like the day-to-day, how much work it is, because when I'm not studying, divide and conquer. We have our own little tasks. We do this. One of us cook, mostly Jesse cooks, but I take over more of the cleaning, so we kind of balance each other out as best as we can. And so it's just been a lot. So that shifted kind of my plans this week. I thought, I'd have more time. I want to finish my prenatal yoga course that I'm taking, because I feel like the time is ticking now, because I have to do my prenatal yoga and postnatal yoga and course before I start studying for my next exam this spring. And there just seems like there's a lot of also things to do. We're going to Nicaragua at the beginning of March for our honeymoon and my birthday. And so I'm kind of freaking out because that's slowly less than a month away, and we need to book the rental car. There's like the activities we want to plan and book. I haven't even started looking at the travel restrictions yet, because it seems like it changes so much that I'll just usually wait with like 2 to 3 weeks ahead of time. And then I've been watching it. That's what I did when we were going to Madeira, is you kind of just have to watch a little closer going up. But we've got the vaccines, boosted, everything. Now Jesse had COVID, so he's immune. So there's just a lot of things to do. So this week I thought I'd have more time to work on some of these little tasks. Of course, going to the DMV today, I had to make sure all my paperwork was ready. Thankfully, I made an appointment and uploaded everything back in December, which I told Jesse, I said, I can't believe I made this appointment months ago. Like, I didn't know like what would be happening this week, but it seems like it's just like a terrible week to have this appointment. And then I was like, no, you booked this like 4 weeks ago, this appointment. So yeah, it was between Christmas and New Year, so about 4 weeks ago. It wasn't months ago. That's just how long it seems like January has been, which I know it always is. It always seems like January is super long, then February super short, and then March is my birthday month. It's just, there's just not enough hours in the day to get all the tasks done. And then also, I meal prep as best as I can on the weekend, but I have a set menu for the week of what we're having. And a week or two ago, I really tried to make it where whatever I'm cooking, I can put it in the oven for like 30 to 40 minutes, and then I can get on my mat while it's cooking. For some reason last week, when I was putting this week's menu together, I had a brand new recipe I had never tried before, which was marinating chicken, which I have never done. There was also ham, bacon, eggs, and hash browns, which weren't as messy as I thought they would be, but when I could think back to myself a week ago, I'm like, what were you thinking? You need to simplify, you need to keep it simple. So Jesse's like, oh, but you should make like spaghetti one night. I said, well, the spaghetti's on Thursday, so I can't have too much spaghetti and sauce, but just easier simplifying meals, and I feel like I really need to just remember that. Just simplify. I'm not trying to be some culinary chef here. Just simplify the meals, because I don't know who I'm trying to impress. Just he's like, you're fine, you're making great food. Although I do need to up my vegetables. Apparently I don't have enough vegetables in my menus. But yeah, I definitely just need to simplify. And also one thing I've noticed that's coming up for me is just remembering to put boundaries and just set boundaries with certain people, because I just feel like I overbook and I overpromise a lot of things, like, oh yeah, I'll totally do this and I'll totally do that, and then my schedule fills up so much that I don't have time for myself, and that's kind of what's happened in the last like 2-3 weeks. And of course some things shifted because I was supposed to meet up with a friend, and then she got COVID, and then so of course certain things moved around, but I just definitely need to stop scheduling and booking things, especially for the rest of February. So I have 2 weekends that are completely full, and after that, I'm not doing any meetups with friends, anything like that. I'm really just trying to focus on getting my tasks done, getting ready for our trip, Jesse has his exam, so all this stuff. So just reprioritizing as well. Like, what is important? What am I going to, give my energy to? That's that on like my priorities list. I'm also looking into project management apps, like not apps, but I know there's Slack. There's another one I heard about, just like how to kind of project manage our household, because there's things I need to send Jesse. We have kind of a project we're working on that is in the very early stages that one day soon I'll be very excited to share. But there's a lot of coordination that goes with it, and so I'm just like, if I could find something where I'm like, I don't want to keep emailing you. It also seems like emails are very, not like outdated now, but there's easier forms of like management and sharing stuff. Like we share Google Drive and everything, but sometimes I just want to like have I don't know, I'm looking for something. I looked into Slack, and I could do the free one because I don't need 10 team members. So I don't know if you have any project management tools or to-do list tools or apps you use to manage everything. It could even be like, because I want something where we can also put our grocery list digitally, and I also want everything to be in one place. I don't want to have to be like, okay, well that's in the Google Drive, and that's in the email folder. I want everything in one place. Like, here's the grocery list. Hey, when next time you're in the grocery store, get this, get that, because it just seems like so much of the stuff we have going on could easily be simplified with just the right program. On a personal level, we got some bad news about a friend, unfortunately, who's very sick. And so that put a lot of things in perspective for us. We both were like, okay, we can't be stressing about these little things. I know they're accumulating, and there's these like little to-do lists. Like, again, I overpromised. I told everybody who was at our wedding that I'm going to give them the high-resolution photos. And then I was going to work on it. And then Jesse tested positive for COVID, and then that was not a priority in the moment, and I wish I hadn't promised everybody that, because I didn't know though that I wouldn't be able to deliver on time, and so that's a little task that's going on that I have to get off my to-do list. It's very easy. I just need to change a couple folders, zip file, send it out, but it's just one of those things where it's like, if I just had the moment to sit down and do it, but it just seems like that right now is not a priority for us. And so work-wise, it's been a roller coaster of a week. What I can share is I'm working on a project that is very challenging. Both my boss, who has been in the industry for over 50 years, and the contractor said that neither one, he's been, I don't know how long in the industry, have never had a project like this, the scope of work like this, just overall never seen anything like this, because it has been challenging on all fronts. people have been fired, quit left and right. Like, it has been just a tornado of a project. And so that's something I'm working on good 25 to 30 hours a week. So that's also something where my energy is being drained towards this project, and how much of my energy do I want to give to this project, to this client. So that's something I'm kind of working on, and for me, I'm taking this as a huge learning curve and lesson on how in the future, when I do have my own firm and I land a client like this, how am I going to approach it? Because right now, for me, I'm a little bit on the bottom, not towards the bottom of the totem pole on as far as when things go wrong, whose fault is it, or when certain things and as long as my boss is happy with the work that I'm doing and satisfied, and I'm meeting everything I am meeting per my, job, then I feel okay. And I feel good about what I'm doing. But there's definitely things I would be doing differently, and just, it's been really interesting to see how certain team members have approached it, and just all around the different dynamics of people. It's been really, if I try to take my emotions and my stress and my frustrations out of it, when you look at it from an outside perspective, and I'm really trying to do this because I think when I can take this negative thing in my life and try to get lessons out of it, that's something, learn from it, because next time this does happen, I know what I can do that will make it not go this far. And also, it's just been really, lots of lessons learned. Of course, this project has been going on far too long, and there's no end in sight yet. And so that's something that right now that I'm kind of working through on how am I going to be approaching this, because there's all these other factors that I can't control. So what can I do to control what I can control? Of course, it's been very difficult at times where you want to throw the towel in, you want to give up. You're just like, why? I can't deal with this. It's not worth the headache or the money or everything. More of a lesson and a challenge, and something that I can grow from, rather than that's something that I just want to give up and be done with. It's definitely not that. Yeah, it's kind of just the week that I've had. I'm already feeling relaxed. This warm water, it feels so good. And this bubble bath stuff, I am in love with it. I'll provide a link in the show notes for it. It's absolutely amazing. It's from Amazon too. It smells amazing. They have all sorts of scents. Just everything smells so good. And I've got my candle burning, my crystals, and yeah, I'm just so happy. It's Friday. I have some exciting plans this weekend. I'm actually meeting up with a friend to record a very special episode for the podcast, which I cannot wait to share with you. That'll be super fun. And it actually may air before this episode, not with either my mom or Jessie, so I'm very excited. I'm a little nervous. I do like to challenge myself in certain ways and just say yes to a lot of things, just to see, what can I do, how can I grow, because I just want to keep building, moving forward. And I have so many plans this year for this podcast, but I'm really focusing on creating and just having fun and just kind of flowing with whatever comes. Like this idea today about, bathtub confessions. Like this seems like this could be a great segment. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it does. Maybe nobody listens to this episode. And so here we are, just in a bathtub. Maybe you should listen to this, I should say. So yeah, but of course also I'm a water sign, I'm a Pisces. So baths are just amazing. I love being in water, in the ocean. Anytime I can be in the water, I'm just so happy. And so that's also one reason I cannot wait for our trip to Nicaragua. Fingers crossed everything goes well, because the water is a little warmer, much warmer than here in California. It's definitely a lot colder right now. But yeah, I'm just so excited for the trip. I know a bunch of things I need to do for it, but we're both just like with Jessie mentally, we're like, okay, we have to get through the next few weeks. It's like short-term pain over long-term gain. I tell myself this every time I'm studying for my exams, but short-term pain equals long-term gain. And so right now, it's a little bit of a struggle, short-term, but at the end of the month, almost in a month, we are going to be on an island, in a lake, in Nicaragua, with views of volcanoes. So I'm just eye on the prize there, thinking about that, manifesting it, just so excited. Yeah, just really, really excited to be there. And so yeah, So I'm in the tub and just feel like a moment of bliss. I've needed this. I really need to ground down this weekend, do some grounding meditations, and just feel like I've had too much of my Vata energy just come up the last few days. So, yeah. All right, well, thank you so much for listening to this episode. I know it's a little different. We're in a bathtub, but I hope you liked it. And if you do, please like, follow, subscribe to my podcast. It really means a lot. And thank you, and see you next Friday.